Nigerians went to the polls last Saturday for what should have been a straightforward by-election. It was not a general election. It was not a presidential contest. It was not even a nationwide exercise. It was just House of Representatives, senatorial and some state House Assemblies election in some few areas of some states. Something that should have been simple, peaceful, and credible. Yet what did Nigerians witness once again? Violence. Rigging. Ballot snatching. Intimidation of voters. And finally, the shameless declaration of results that did not reflect the will of the people. This is why Dele Farotimi, a Nigerian lawyer, author, and one of the loudest supporters of Peter Obi, came out blasting both the Independent National Electoral Commission and the current government under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Farotimi is not a man who minces words. He is not afraid to speak. And on this matter, he went straight to the heart of the problem. He accused Inec of betraying Nigerians yet again. According to him, the very body that is supposed to protect democracy has now become the biggest tool in destroying it. Farotimi described the by-election as another tragic reminder that the Nigerian electoral system is broken from the ground up. He pointed at the violence. He pointed at the ballot snatching. He pointed at the way voters were chased away from polling stations by hired thugs. And he asked the simple question that millions of Nigerians are already asking in anger and frustration: if such chaos and lawlessness can happen during a by-election in just a few places, what will happen in 2027 when the stakes are far higher and the whole country is voting at the same time? Farotimi went further to call out Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the current president. He argued that the entire atmosphere of impunity flows directly from the top. He said when those in power show no respect for the rule of law, their followers and loyalists simply copy them. He noted that Tinubu's rise to power in 2023 was itself marred by heavy allegations of rigging, manipulation, and open disregard for the will of the Nigerian people. So why should anyone expect a by-election under the same system to suddenly become credible? According to Farotimi, Nigeria is in danger of normalizing electoral fraud. He warned that what used to shock Nigerians is now becoming common. Every time there is an election, the same story repeats: violence, intimidation, and rigging. And instead of outrage leading to reform, it simply fades into silence after a few days. He accused Inec of deliberately running a system that makes rigging easy and accountability impossible. He blasted the electoral body for failing in its constitutional duty. Inec was supposed to be an independent referee. Instead, Farotimi argued, it has become an agent of those who want to cling to power at all costs. He recalled how Inec promised Nigerians transparency with electronic transmission of results, yet abandoned those promises when it mattered most. He said the by-election was another chapter in Inec's book of betrayals. Farotimi's tone was fiery. He reminded Nigerians that democracy is not just about casting a ballot. It is about that ballot being counted. It is about that ballot reflecting the true voice of the people. And when the people's voice is silenced through manipulation, then the government in power does not derive legitimacy from the people, but from fraud. He also highlighted the dangers of ignoring these repeated acts of rigging. When voters see that their votes do not count, they lose faith in the system. When they lose faith, they stop participating. And when people stop participating, the country is left in the hands of a small political elite who exchange power among themselves while the masses suffer. Farotimi described this as the death of democracy in slow motion. He said Nigerians must not take this lightly. He stressed that those who dismiss by-elections as minor events are missing the bigger picture. Every rigged by-election is a rehearsal for a rigged general election. Every unchecked case of violence is a signal to politicians that they can get away with anything. And every silence from the people only emboldens the ruling class to tighten its grip on power. In blasting Tinubu, Farotimi said Nigeria cannot continue with leaders who treat elections like a personal property. He said elections are not a coronation. They are not a family affair. They are not a business transaction. They are the voice of the people, the very soul of democracy. When leaders rise to power without the genuine support of the people, they rule without conscience, and they govern without fear of judgment. Farotimi then turned his anger back to Inec. He asked how long Nigerians will continue to pour billions into an electoral body that cannot deliver free and fair elections. He asked why, in 2025, Nigeria still conducts elections as if it were 1960, with thugs, guns, and ballot box snatching. He asked why technology is being deliberately sabotaged. He asked why those who rig elections walk free, while ordinary citizens suffer under the weight of bad governance. In his speech, Farotimi did not spare words. He said Nigerians are living in a season of great deception, where institutions that are supposed to protect the people have become weapons against them. He insisted that Tinubu's government cannot continue to pretend that everything is fine while elections are soaked in violence and fraud. He reminded Nigerians that no democracy can survive if elections lose credibility. According to him, the by-election was a warning sign, a red light flashing before the entire nation. If a small contest can be this chaotic, then 2027 may be nothing short of a battlefield. And if Nigerians do not rise up now, they should not expect miracles in the future. Farotimi concluded his blast by declaring that Nigerians deserve better. They deserve leaders chosen by the people, not imposed by violence. They deserve elections that reflect their true voice, not the handwriting of a few powerful men. They deserve an INEC that works for the country, not for those in power. And until that happens, Nigerians must be prepared for more of the same: rigging, manipulation, and disappointment. This was not just a criticism. It was a wake-up call. Farotimi spoke as a man who is tired of watching the same movie play over and over again. He spoke as someone who believes Nigeria still has hope, but only if Nigerians themselves decide that enough is enough. And in blasting both Tinubu and INEC, he laid the foundation for a bigger conversation about the future, how the Obidient Movement and Peter Obi must prepare if they truly want to change the story in 2027. After Dele Farotimi finished his sharp criticism of Bola Tinubu and INEC over the rigged by-election, he did not stop there. He turned his attention to Peter Obi and the entire Obidient Movement. His message was urgent, direct, and uncompromising. He told them plainly that if they are serious about winning in 2027, they must begin to prepare now. Farotimi explained that Nigerian politics is not a game of fairness. It is not a level playing field where the best candidate automatically wins. No. He reminded them that power in Nigeria is guarded jealously by those who hold it, and those people will not hand it over simply because the people want change. They will fight. They will resist. They will manipulate. They will cheat. And unless the Obidient Movement is ready for that fight, they will be rigged out again, just like in 2023 and just like in the recent by-election. He stressed that the time for wishful thinking is over. He said it is not enough to dream of a better Nigeria, to sing about change, or to simply cast votes on election day. The real challenge is to make sure those votes count. That is the true battlefield. According to Farotimi, Peter Obi remains the symbol of hope for millions of Nigerians, but even hope is not enough. Obi cannot fight alone. The Obidient Movement cannot succeed if it remains only an online community or a group of emotional supporters. It must transform into a disciplined, structured, and determined political force. He warned that the ruling party and its machinery are not sleeping. They are already planning for 2027. They are strengthening their hold on the system. They are positioning themselves to use INEC, security agencies, and every available tool to protect their grip on power. If Obi and the Obidients wait until the election season to start organizing, it will be too late. Farotimi challenged Peter Obi directly. He said leadership is not just about being popular or being loved by the people. It is about building a movement that cannot be ignored, a movement that can defend itself against manipulation. He told Obi that his sincerity and competence are clear, but those qualities alone will not deliver power in Nigeria. They must be matched with strategy, preparation, and courage. He said the Obidient Movement must grow beyond Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It must enter every community, every street, and every polling unit. It must become a grassroots army of ordinary Nigerians who are ready to defend their votes. Farotimi insisted that the battle for Nigeria will not be won in the courts or on television debates. It will be won in the streets, in the polling booths, and in the ability of citizens to stand firm against rigging. Farotimi also addressed the spirit of the Obidients. He told them that frustration is natural. Anger is natural. Many of them feel betrayed by what happened in 2023. Many of them feel tired of fighting a system that looks unbeatable. But he warned that giving up is exactly what the system wants. He said the ruling class thrives on citizen apathy. The fewer people who fight, the easier it is to rig. The less resistance they face, the smoother the manipulation goes. That is why, according to him, the Obidient movement must never lose energy. It must channel its anger into organization. It must convert disappointment into strategy. It must turn the pain of defeat into the power of preparation. Farotimi pointed to history. He reminded Nigerians that no ruling system gives up power willingly. It took courage, unity, and sacrifice to bring down colonial rule. It took collective action to end military dictatorship. And it will take the same determination to defeat electoral rigging and corruption in today's Nigeria. He warned that change is never served on a plate. It must be demanded, fought for, and defended with everything the people have. He urged the Obidients not to repeat the mistakes of 2023. In that election, they were full of enthusiasm, but they were not fully organized to defend their votes. They relied too much on the promises of Inec. They trusted that technology like BVAS and IREV would save the day. But when those systems failed, they had no backup plan. He told them clearly, do not put your future in the hands of Inec again. If you do, you will be disappointed again. Instead, Farotimi called for a complete rethinking of strategy. He said every Obidient must see themselves as part of the resistance, part of the struggle, part of the fight to rescue Nigeria. That means mobilizing in their neighborhoods, educating people about their rights, monitoring the electoral process, and standing their ground when the vote is under threat. He told Obi himself that he cannot afford to sit back quietly until 2027. He must use the years ahead to build structures across Nigeria. He must invest in leadership training, in local organizers, in youth mobilizers, and in election observers. He must connect with communities that feel ignored and give them a reason to stand with him. Farotimi's warning was also about mindset. He said the Obidient movement must understand that politics is not only about emotions. It is about discipline. It is about resilience. It is about never underestimating the desperation of those who want to cling to power. He told them plainly, the people you are up against are not gentlemen. They are not playing fair. They will use everything against you. And if you want to win, you must be ready for them. He went further to say that the Obidients must learn to protect each other. He reminded them of how violence was used in the by-election to scare voters away. He said this will happen again in 2027 on a much larger scale. And the only way to counter it is through courage and unity. Citizens must be ready to stand together at polling units, to resist intimidation, and to document every act of rigging for the world to see. He also warned that the courts cannot be trusted as the only option. He said Nigerians saw what happened after the 2023 election petitions. Nigerians saw how evidence was ignored and how technicalities were used to bury the truth. He told the Obidients that if they think the courts alone will rescue them, they are already defeated. The real power lies in the people, and the people must claim it at the ballot box and protect it with their presence. Farotimi urged the movement to think like builders. He said they must create local alliances, they must recruit trusted leaders in every state, and they must refuse to be divided by religion, tribe, or money. He said the ruling class will use every tool to break their unity, from propaganda to bribery to ethnic manipulation. But the Obidients must rise above that. They must remember that their fight is not for one man, but for the soul of Nigeria. He told Obi personally that history will not forgive him if he allows this movement to die. Farotimi said Obi carries the hopes of millions, but hope must be fed with action. Obi must show courage, even when the system tries to frustrate him. Obi must lead, not from behind, but from the front, guiding his supporters to prepare for the coming battle. Finally, Farotimi gave one of his strongest warnings yet: if you do not prepare for 2027, you will be rigged out again. If you do not protect your votes, they will steal them again. If you do not organize now, the future you dream of will remain a dream. But if you rise, if you fight, if you prepare, then Nigeria will see the dawn of change. This was not a gentle appeal. It was a hard truth delivered with passion. Farotimi wanted Obi and the Obidients to understand the urgency of the moment. The by-election was a signal. It showed them exactly what will happen if they are careless in 2027. It showed them that the system will not change itself. It must be forced to change. So his message to them was simple but powerful: prepare, organize, and defend. Do not wait until it is too late. Do not trust Inec to save you. Do not believe that change will come just because Nigerians want it. Change will come only when Nigerians are ready to fight for it. And if Obi and the Obidients are not ready, then history will repeat itself, and Nigeria will remain in the same cycle of rigging and disappointment. After tearing into Inec and blasting Tinubu, after warning Obi and the Obidient Movement, Dele Farotimi turned to the bigger picture. He made it clear that what is at stake is not just another election. What is at stake is the very soul of Nigeria. He said plainly that the by-election was not about who won or who lost a single seat. It was about the future of democracy itself. And if Nigerians do not act now, then 2027 will not be an election, it will be another tragedy. Farotimi explained that a nation is only as strong as its elections. When people believe their votes count, they trust the system. They participate. They hold leaders accountable. But when people lose that trust, the system collapses from within. He warned that Nigeria is already on the edge of that collapse. Too many citizens already believe that voting is useless. Too many young people have lost faith after what they saw in 2023. And if nothing changes before 2027, then the voice of the people will be silenced completely. That is why he said this moment is a turning point. Nigerians have two options: rise and fight for their democracy, or sit back and watch the system destroy every hope of change. According to him, there is no middle ground anymore. You are either preparing to resist rigging, or you are helping the riggers by staying silent. He called 2027 a do-or-die year, not in the way politicians use it to threaten violence, but in the sense that Nigeria's destiny is on the line. He said if 2027 is rigged again, then the Obidient dream of a new Nigeria may die for an entire generation. Young Nigerians may walk away from politics completely. Corrupt leaders will become even bolder. And the chance to rebuild the nation may be lost for decades. But he also gave hope. Farotimi said the Obidient Movement, if it prepares properly, has the power to shock the system. He said the energy that shook Nigeria in 2023 has not disappeared. It is still alive in millions of young people, in mothers who want a better future for their children, in fathers tired of poverty, in students tired of strikes, and in workers crushed by hardship. That energy must not be wasted. It must be organized. He told the Obidients that their size is their strength. They are millions, scattered across every corner of Nigeria and even beyond its borders. If they unite with discipline, if they put aside tribal and religious divisions, if they resist the temptations of money politics, then no system can overpower them. He said 2027 will be a test of unity, a test of courage, and a test of determination. Farotimi was also clear about what preparation really means. He said it is not just about shouting on social media or wearing campaign t-shirts. It is about building structures. It is about training polling unit agents who know what to do when rigging begins. It is about educating ordinary voters so they are not deceived by fake promises or bribed with small amounts of money. It is about creating legal teams that are ready to challenge irregularities immediately, not months later. It is about having strategies in place to expose fraud as it happens, so the world cannot ignore it. He urged Obi himself to step into the role of a general preparing an army. He said Obi must inspire but also organize. He must speak but also act. He must turn his popularity into real structures on the ground. According to Farotimi, Obi's calm and disciplined style is good, but 2027 will require more. It will require him to be bold, to lead from the front, and to call his followers into serious preparation. He also told the Obidients that they cannot fight only with emotions. Anger will not win elections. Frustration will not stop rigging. Only discipline and strategy will. He warned them against being distracted by propaganda, against fighting each other online, and against falling for the tricks of the ruling elite. He said the system will try to divide them, to turn them against each other, to distract them with scandals and lies. They must resist it. Farotimi said 2027 must be about vigilance. Every vote must be guarded. Every polling unit must be watched. Every act of rigging must be recorded and reported. He said citizens must no longer leave elections in the hands of INEC alone. They must become the protectors of their own democracy. He reminded Nigerians that change does not come from hope alone. Hope without action is just a dream. He told them that freedom is never given freely by oppressors. It must be taken by the oppressed. If the people of Nigeria want a better country, then they must be willing to pay the price of organizing, of resisting intimidation, and of standing together. Farotimi also spoke about sacrifice. He said many Nigerians want change but are not ready to sacrifice for it. Some want change but are still ready to sell their votes for a few thousand naira. Some want change but are too afraid to confront thugs on election day. Some want change but are not ready to give their time, energy, and resources to building the movement. He said this attitude must end. If Nigerians are not willing to sacrifice, then the ruling elite will continue to buy elections cheaply while the people continue to suffer expensively. He warned that the price of inaction is always higher than the price of sacrifice. If people refuse to fight for their votes in 2027, then they will continue to pay with poverty, insecurity, unemployment, and hopelessness for the next 4 years and beyond. He said the choice is clear: sacrifice a little now, or suffer endlessly later. Farotimi's message was not only about Obi or the Obidient Movement. It was about every Nigerian who believes in democracy. He said this fight is not for one candidate alone. It is for the future of children who deserve schools that work, hospitals that function, jobs that pay, and a government that cares. It is for generations yet unborn who should not inherit corruption and suffering as their only legacy. He told Nigerians to stop saying politics is dirty and refusing to participate. He said politics is dirty because the good people have left it to the bad ones. He challenged every citizen to take responsibility. He said democracy dies when citizens stay home and complain but refuse to act. Finally, Farotimi closed with a challenge that sounded like a battle cry. He said, if you want Obi in 2027, then you must fight for it. If you want change, then you must defend it. If you want democracy, then you must protect it. Nobody will hand power to you. You must take it with unity, courage, and determination. He warned that those who cling to power are not more powerful than the people. They only appear powerful because the people are divided and silent. But when the people unite and rise with one voice, no rigging machine can withstand them. He said 2027 will be the moment of truth. Either Nigerians rise and take back their country, or they bow their heads again and watch the same old story repeat itself. And so, his final call was simple but sharp: prepare now, organize now, unite now, or regret later. 2027 will not forgive carelessness. It will not forgive weakness. It will not forgive disunity. It will demand everything from Nigerians who want change. Dele Farotimi's voice rang like an alarm bell. His words were not coated with politeness or diplomacy. They were raw, urgent, and heavy with truth. The by-election was just a warning. 2027 will be the real test. And the only question left is this: will Nigerians pass that test, or will they once again allow themselves to be cheated out of their future?